Gloria Strode, and welcome to Straightforward. Today we have Dianne Mattiace, a diabetic patient, but she is the best advocate for other patients. Welcome.
Thank you for having me back.
I know, it's been a year already.
Yes, that year went very quickly, didn't it?
It really did. And you are, besides being this awesome businesswoman and real estate mogul in Florida, you have become the face and an advocate for those living with diabetes, because you were diagnosed when?
I was diagnosed 28 years ago at age 41.
At age 41.
Very late to become a type 1 diabetic.
So normally at that stage, it's type 2 or?
The physicians many times will assume you're going to be a type 2.
Right.
And there are many mistakes made in diagnosis, but now there's more and more people, they've changed it from being called juvenile diabetes to type 1 diabetes, because there are people being diagnosed at all ages now. Not only at a young age, but even some I've read into the 60s.
Really?
So, yes.
Oh my goodness, I need to pay attention to that then. Yes. No, really, because it can happen.
It can happen to anybody.
Right. So how did you find out? What was happening? I know that we always talk about their signs and symptoms and those kinds of things. So
let me tell you a little bit about type 1 first, if I could. Type 1 is a autoimmune disease, basically. It's not basically environmental, which many type 2s, it's because of being overweight, eating improperly, genetics. I'm actually the only type 1 in my family.
Really?
Yes. There were some type 2s, or there are some type 2s. But type 1, what happens is your pancreas makes these beta cells.
Right.
And the beta cells are the cells that produce the insulin. Now the pancreas has other functions, obviously. It aids in digestion and things like that. But when your body, the reason it's called autoimmune is because your immune system, if you get sick, which I personally got the flu, your immune system kind of goes crazy and attacks the beta cells and kills them off.
Really?
Yes. And so then you go through, many people go through something called the honeymoon stage, which you're making some insulin, but you're not really making enough to handle everything. So your blood sugar is going to start to go up gradually, but you don't really know because it's not really horrible yet. I actually started getting blurry vision, and that's because the sugar molecules will attach to the fluid in the eyes. And I went and had a blood sugar, and it was about 390.
Really?
So
it just kind of creeped up on you.
That was my first symptom. And I was actually, again, misdiagnosed as a type 2 for a few months, because I was in that honeymoon stage where I was making some insulin, and I was on oral medication. And the biggest difference between a type 1 and a type 2 is that many type 2s can be treated with oral medications, pills and things like that.
Right.
Many of them end up going on insulin, or their doctors.
But they might start out with the pills.
But they might start out with oral medications. All type 1s have to have insulin.
Really?
Yes. There is nothing else. We die without insulin.
My goodness.
Yes. Yes.
And so that was your starting point.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. I was 41, had the blurry vision, thought I needed glasses, and then
was it constant blurry vision?
Yes,
or?
it was, because the sugar molecules attach to the fluid in your eye and the vitreous fluid in your eye, and it doesn't go away until the blood sugar is controlled. And some people, they get very panicky because you really have a very strange sense of vision when you're going through the diagnosis part. But your vision will come back. Once you get your sugars under control, whatever vision you had typically will come back.
Really?
Yes.
So that had to be very frightening.
It was.
Right.
It was.
Because you started out with the flu or a cold.
I had a very bad, flu that year. I had always taken the flu vaccine, still got the flu. And then it was right after that I got this blurry vision, went to the eye doctor, and said nothing was really wrong. And you know, talked to some friends. They say, you should really check your blood sugar. Have you been to the regular doctor? And, you know, and that's when I got it checked at a walk-in clinic or something, or emergency center or something. I can't really remember now. It's a long time ago.
Right.
But I had a 390. It was a Saturday, so I think it was one of these walk-in places or whatever. My husband went with me. Monday, I went to an internist who, of course, misdiagnosed me because of my age.
Right.
And he was not an endocrinologist.
Right.
You know,
which is what our friend Dr. Baliga is, who's
Yes.
your physician.
Yes.
Yes, and
Yes.
one of our sponsors.
Probably the greatest.
He is
the
awesome.
greatest endocrinologist.
He is.
First of all,
Because
the one I have ever seen.
He's always looking for what's going to improve the life of his patients.
Yes.
And he's up all times of night. He's looking all over the world. He's looking for the latest and greatest of everything.
He's very dedicated.
He is very dedicated.
In this field, you know, there's just not enough endocrinologists to go around either. There is a shortage of that specialty right now. And I just value my time with him. I mean, if I have to wait, I don't care. I know he's taking care of somebody else.
It's gonna be the best.
Yes,
it
is. He
and
is
so
very
you were one of the first to get the 90-day implant, because we had some others that were shorter term.
There were actually the EverSense implant is the only
90-day.
The only implantable.
Oh, okay.
It's the only implantable.
It's the only. Okay.
It actually, I hate to use that word implant. It is an implant, but it's just basically a tiny, tiny little module or something that gets inserted under the skin. It's no surgery.
Right.
There's no, I mean, there's a
It's about 2 minutes, you say. Right.
Once you're numbed, it's about a 2-minute procedure to put it in. It lasts 90 days. That's because of FDA. The company is working on, right now, they're in clinical trials to have it last 180 days.
Really?
And then it will go to probably a year.
Okay.
Hopefully in my lifetime.
Oh, and it will. It will, because you are blazing all the trails.
The EverSense is the product it's called, and there are many other CGMs on the market. This one is totally different.
Right.
It does need to be calibrated twice a day to make sure for accuracy. They're working on that. They've just made another advancement through FDA, and they are coming out with a new app. I'm going to be at one of the trials that's trying to, you know, make sure it works
everything's
and
worked
make sure
out.
everything is working. I'm on my fifth sensor.
Okay.
When I was here last year, I had just
got the
gotten
first.
it in.
Right.
And it's working perfectly.
And it's
love
changed your life.
It has.
Really.
It is truly
life-changing. Okay.
And it will bring me to tears if I start talking about that.
Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take our break, go to our sponsors, and we're going to come right back. Okay. We'll be right back after word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Chalk by Quincy introduces Excellence Redefined, timepieces of the finest technology, luxury, and class with tons of style at chalklifestyle.com. Renal Associates LLC, a team of physicians dedicated to excellent kidney care with 5 convenient locations to serve you: Stark Avenue, Columbus; Bradley Park Drive, Columbus; Lafayette Parkway, LaGrange; West Washington Street, Eufaula; and Spring Street in Warm Springs. Vanessa Jackson's District 3 Successful Scholars Program, supporting students in achieving academic excellence, outstanding citizenship, positive social and cultural growth, believing in success for kids. Dr. Sheikha Shaw Family Medicine, connecting your health to your future. Dr. Shaw prides herself in providing compassionate health care and establishing long-lasting relationships. Conveniently located at 2827 Warm Springs Road, Suite 3B. Call her today at 706-324-4177.
Walmart's reason for supporting Thurgood Marshall College Fund is simple. We like to win. And we have been given a lot of exposure to some incredible talent. And we also believe that it's a part of our responsibility to the community to give back. This is a great opportunity to do both. It's been a wonderful experience for us through the years. We've appreciated our partnership. We believe in return on investment, and we have definitely had a remarkable return.
Welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing this great conversation with our best diabetes advocate, patient advocate, Dianne Mattiace. My friend, the world traveler. I follow you on social media. You're in Florida, you're at the beach, the marina, having lunch. Then you go up the coast, and I was like, where is she getting all this energy? But you were saying before we went to the break that the implant has really made a difference.
Yes.
So now you're keeping on with your life, just doing what you always do.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will tell you that being a type 1 diabetic, it really is, and it's very hard to explain that to somebody who is not one.
Right.
And it's wonderful to meet others who live the same life we do, but it actually is like a full-time job for many people.
Right, and that's what you said before.
Yes, it's really so intense that you have to really kind of watch what you're doing all day long.
Really?
If you're eating, if you're not eating, you know, because it's a very gentle balance between, you know, falling off the wagon, going low, you know, a low blood sugar, which, you know, is very dangerous.
Right.
Or going very, very high, which is also dangerous.
Right.
If you're not getting enough insulin into your body and it's not being absorbed properly, and then you end up in what they call diabetic ketoacidosis. Not to be confused, folks, with the keto diet.
Right.
It's ketoacidosis.
Right.
You end up in the hospital with that. And that, again, will... what occurs there is organ shutdown, and you die from that. So there's two ends of the bell curve here, and we try to stay right here in the middle.
Right.
And it is very gentle balance. Now the Eversense, the implant, has helped me tremendously because it sends through my little transmitter here.
All right.
Every 5 minutes.
Every 5 minutes?
Every 5 minutes, a blood sugar to my phone.
Okay.
So let's see if I want to share this.
So is the transmitter on top of the implant?
Yes, the sensor is implanted.
Okay. Under the skin.
Just barely under the skin, because I can feel it.
Right, and we want to say you were the first in the U.S., and we
Right.
had you on this show last
Right.
year, you and our great friend, Dr. Baliga, endocrinologist.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so this is
And
your
then the
fifth.
little transmitter, because of the way that the sensor works, which is very advanced technology. It's fluorescence technology that sends from interstitial fluid, with not blood, not like sticking your finger, interstitial fluid, to the transmitter. The transmitter then sends by Bluetooth to my phone every 5 minutes. So I can look at that. I can send this to my doctor if I'm having a problem. I can, you know, he can look at everything.
So this you can send to Dr. Baliga wherever he is, as long as he has his phone, and he can.
Or it goes to his email.
Really? It emails him. This is Diana's thing, and if something's wrong, then he can try to troubleshoot.
He can just call me and say you need to adjust this in the morning, because with I also have an insulin pump. I did not mention that.
Right.
But with an insulin pump, you get a little bit of insulin every 5 minutes also, based on what your basal rate is. We all have a basal rate.
Okay.
And you know, you have, even if you're not eating anything, your liver's got some sugar going on in there. And so if sometimes it works, you know, it sends some sugar out if you're going low. It doesn't always work. This is why, you know, this is so important. Many, many people die in their sleep from having a low blood sugar. And I used to, well, when I got it, my husband had not retired yet. He's now retired. He was living in a different state.
Right.
And I was very nervous to sleep because, I mean, believe it or not, you don't know what your blood sugar is.
Right.
And
it will creep. It will creep.
It will go up or down. You know, even if you just ate a meal, sometimes you end up with a low blood sugar because the insulin absorption is different. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you're not stressed. Maybe you're very relaxed. You've been in the sun. All these things factor in. Hormones.
Really?
See,
that's what makes you such a great patient advocate, and you're not getting paid to do this. This is something that you're sharing as a life experience to try to help others living with diabetes, which you have done it for more than 20 years.
We all need help,
Yes.
believe me. All the type 1s and all the type 2s, we need all the help we can get out there.
Right.
Because your physician, you know, only has a limited amount of time to really help you. And I love him to death, and he has a nurse practitioner and a great
Right.
nurse and a great staff, but I don't want to become, you know, I can't call him every day. I
Right.
just don't. I mean, he has other
So you have
patients
to
take
be
care
your
of.
own advocate.
So
Right.
I always have believed that the best way to handle this disease is to handle it
Right.
myself.
Right.
And to learn as much about
And
it
be a
as I
part of your
can.
treatment. And you're very knowledgeable.
Thank you. And to
Yes.
be part of, yes, not only my treatment, but to be interested in new technology that's coming down. The funny story, and I told it last year, is when I went to see Dr. Baliga, I had just moved to Alabama, and I needed to get a new endocrinologist.
Right.
And I went into his office, first appointment, and we hit it off, and, you know, I liked him right away. Very likable gentleman.
Awesome guy.
And he started, this is about 4 or 5 days after the FDA approved the Eversense.
Right.
And he said, well, I think this would be good for you, because I was complaining to him about having so many lows and needed to have my pump adjusted and
Right.
so forth. But my A1C, which actually is the telltale, was not good. I was
Right.
not, it was showing I was not in control. Because when you have a low, you have a tendency to like have this feeling like you're, I don't want to say you're going to die, but it feels like that. You
Right.
feel
It's
like
anxiety
you're going
and
to pass
everything.
out, and you need to eat and eat and eat, and then what happens is you rebound into a high blood sugar. So between the highs and the lows,
Just
they don't
volleying
want
back
you
and
there.
forth.
Exactly.
Right.
Volleying is the perfect word. So I was telling him about this, and he said, well, I think you're the perfect candidate for this new product.
Right.
And I had seen it. I had seen an advertisement in Florida before I had moved. And
Right.
I said, oh, what is it? And he said, oh, it's called the Eversense, and it's implantable. And I go, let's do it today. and he
you
goes,
were
wait, we have to, we have to set it up. And since you're going to be the first, which I didn't know at the time when I volunteered, that we have to get the Eversense team here
Right.
and everything. So it was,
It was
a
awesome.
big deal.
It was. It really was that morning at his office, and I was like, well, they're gonna let me stand out here and look. And it's like, well, if it's okay, and it was just really exciting to just be a part of something that was just going to be life-changing, not just for you, but for others. But what we're going to do is take our final break, go to our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. Okay. We'll be right back after a word from some of our sponsors. Straightforward is brought to you by Warrior Outreach. Contact Command Sergeant Major Retired Sam Rhodes or Kathy Rhodes. The Hugel Foundation, enriching the community through Christian music support, community outreach, and the Georgia Through Photography Project. For more information, call B at 706-568-6431. Progressive Funeral Home, family owned and operated since 1952. The George Ford legacy of high standards continues today in the compassionate and professional services provided. A touch of dignity for those who care. Progressive Funeral Home, 4235 St. Mary's Road, trusted by generations. East Alabama Endocrinology, educating and caring for those living with diabetes in Alabama and Georgia. 1400 Bradley Lake Boulevard, 3320 Skyway Drive, Suite 602, Opelika. Take charge of diabetes and live your best life. State Senator Ed Harbison, serving the citizens of Georgia's 15th Senatorial District and on the front line for veterans every day. And welcome back to Straightforward. I'm continuing my conversation with the awesome Dianne Mattiace. She has mastered all of this information about diabetes and can really help others to just take control and live their best life, because you travel everywhere. I see you on social media, and that excites me because I have a lot of family members that live with diabetes. I've had some to pass away because they've had the legs amputated on both sides of the family, and it can get away from you. But you were saying that you encourage people not just to be their advocate, but just be informed, know what's the next thing. And that's why you volunteered to be the first implant person in the United States.
Absolutely.
And appeared here first on Straightforward.
Yes.
Yes.
And I want to thank you, Gloria, for actually allowing me to share some of my experience, because I do feel that there's not enough education about this. Many people feel that the doctor has to, I mean, you know, you should follow all the instructions from your physician, but there are a lot of information out there. There's lots of information out there for people, new products, new CGMs, which is the acronym for continuous glucose monitoring, which falls in that category. But there are other ones. If your insurance doesn't cover this one.
And that's the thing, the insurance battle. You are a very successful businesswoman. You have the knowledge and understanding and the intestinal fortitude to stay in the fight with the insurance company. And I was sharing with you that, and you saw it too on social media, where this young person cut back on their insulin and they died.
Yes.
That's not okay.
No.
You know, and so if we're supplying health and medication for people with other social diseases, then we should be able to help folks that's living with diabetes.
Yes. I think you know, look, I'm not 20 anymore. Neither are you.
We're seasoned.
We're seasoned.
Yes.
But healthcare has changed tremendously over the years, and I think that many countries recognize diabetes, especially type 1, where people will die without insulin. You will die, probably 24 to 48 hours, you will die with no insulin.
Really?
Yes. So, or maybe a little longer. I don't know. Every body is different.
It's a little different,
but in a country with as much money as the United States has and as much help, I can't stomach that a young man, is like a teenager or young 20s, dies because he cannot afford his insulin. And this is a much needed, this is not a disease we asked for.
No.
Now, many of these younger folks, I was lucky, I didn't get it till I was 41.
Right.
But some of these younger folks get it at 18 months, 2
Right.
years.
Babies.
Parents are getting loans off their home
To pay
for the insulin.
Right.
It's really a shame, and I do believe there are many moves right now within the government across the nation to stop this, because other countries, I mean, I'm on some of these Facebook pages and I see the comments, they are getting insulin and supplies for free through the government.
Really?
Yes. So I think that we need to really overhaul how diabetes is treated in our country. I think that everybody, if it was up to me, everybody should have an insulin pump and a CGM.
Because you want them to have what you have.
Because that is the best care.
Right.
And what we spend, like you said, you had family members who had amputations, who passed away. How many hospital visits, how many surgeries could we avoid if people were able to control their diabetes in a sensible way?
Yeah, and just get what they need up front.
Less doctor appointments, less surgeries, less all these complications, not to mention the retinopathies, you know, the blindness, dialysis.
Yes, a lot of
many.
them
I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say most of the people on dialysis are from uncontrolled diabetes.
Right, and that was what always frustrated my dad, because he went on dialysis at 90, and they would always say, "Mr. Branford, are you a diabetic?" And he was like, "No, I'm not," and he wasn't. It's just that his body got old, and you know, it just wasn't working like it should, and he never developed diabetes. But we did learn that. That's why they would automatically just kind of assume that that was why he was on it. And so when you talk about the loss of vision, as old people would say, they have sugar in their eyes, where you just explained it. It's because it is. I mean,
they're uncontrolled.
Right.
Their blood sugar is running too high. Now, there are retinopathy issues. The retina is behind the eye, and if you don't manage your diabetes correctly and you don't manage your high blood pressure, you can cause bleeds.
Right.
But again, if we can curtail some of that, you save a lot of money
Right.
with treating people correctly from the beginning. It's called
Right.
preventive medicine, folks.
Right.
And then we can stop the amputations and the
Right. Being in crisis mode.
Right.
You want us to be proactive, not reactionary.
Right.
And then we're not
Absolutely.
always fixing something.
Right.
Right. So where is the advocacy outside of you? I know you're a member of Facebook pages and other social media pages. Do we have community organizations that support people?
We have JDRF, which is a big organization that has always been out there. There's Joslin Diabetes. There's every state usually has American Diabetic Association.
Okay.
There's
So they
all
can
the-
just Google or look for
yes,
that.
you can
Okay.
Google or look for them. They all have, websites. There's also, and I can't remember exactly the acronym for it, but I was just at a seminar in somewhere, North Carolina, I think it was, for diabetes. There's a lot of information out there, support groups through your hospitals,
See, that's
through
what
your
I'm
doctors.
saying, support group, because some
Yes.
people don't know where to start.
Right.
You know, they're not a Diane that's going to read everything and, you know, and just thirsting for it.
Right.
But if they can find
Call the hospitals. The hospitals usually will know about any support groups. There's usually a lot of information online now. There's a lot of books, excellent books that teach you how to, if you like eating carbs,
it'll teach you how to do
it'll
it.
teach you how to do it. If you want to do low carb, which is what I do and which is much healthier, I think.
Right.
And I've lost some weight and controlled my A1C a lot better, my
Right.
sugars. A1C looks at your blood sugar cumulatively over 3 months.
Okay.
So mine has gone down 3 points.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So
Okay.
mine is in the 6s now.
Okay.
In the 5s is normal. And, but in the 5s, you're really probably having some low blood sugars. I won't say that for everybody, but I
But
know
for
I've
personally,
never
for
been
you.
in a 5 since
Right.
I've been diagnosed.
Okay.
But my doctor, my physician is very happy if I'm in the 6s, and so am I.
So you get a great report
And
card.
I think the other thing is, I'm a very good example of after 28 years, I have no side effects, no complications from
Really?
this disease. I've been on a pump 27 years. I've been on CGMs on and off. They didn't
Right.
always work for me. This one is working
Perfectly.
beautifully for
Well,
me.
wonderful. Well,
But I think that, paying attention to everything.
Right.
Doing the right tests.
Right.
If your doctor says you need to have this, and
then
this done.
make sure you're staying on top of everything.
Inspecting your feet,
Right.
making sure your nails are cut, making
Right.
sure that you wear shoes outside. Different, all
Little
these little
safety
things,
tips,
safety
but they
tips.
can go to the
Right.
websites
and that's for
and
type 1s
find
and
it.
types 2.
Okay.
Because
Well,
tendency we don't heal well.
I
because
can't
of it.
thank you enough for coming and sharing. If people want to find you, have you come and speak, you're an awesome speaker. They can find you as Dianne Manning Mattiace on social media.
Yes,
And
on
I
Facebook.
Thank you so much for coming. You
Thank
are
you.
awesome.
Thank you, Gloria.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. This
My
has been
pleasure.
straightforward. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Until next time, be blessed.